What's up, guys, and welcome to episode 34 of the BAMcast. Been a long time since I've done this intro, but the goal of the show, guys, is to help you to learn, grow, and evolve by any means necessary. I'm obviously your host, Baker Shields, and in this episode, I'm going to be solo, so it's probably going to be much more boring than a normal episode where I have my super interesting guests that come on and join me that are way more smart, way more valuable in terms of their teachings than I am. But today we're going to do a special just Q&A episode. I try to do them every 10 to 20 episodes, 10 or 15 episodes, I guess, is kind of how I've been doing it. I'm doing a solo one. And with this being episode 34, I think the last one that I did was episode 25 or 26. But I got a lot of great questions for this one, so I'm excited to kind of dive in and answer some of them. So without further ado, let's hop in. First one, what is one thing you wish you could tell your younger self? This is hard. If I had to choose one thing that I wish I could tell my younger self, it's tough because I know I was a complete little sarcastic, back in the day. And so I know that I would either have cracked a joke back at myself for saying this or just not even believed it and just believed that I had everything handled at the time. But really just to believe in what I call like the formula. So just hard work and consistency over time equals results. And I was finding it out whenever I was my younger self through sports or athletics, basketball, namely, by just working out at a much more frequent pace and going above and beyond and just doing my workouts and skills development stuff. I was seeing that pay off on the court. And that's kind of where I first learned what I call the formula for continuing to bring that into other areas of life. So next it was kind of weightlifting / bodybuilding. And then it was, obviously business and stuff like that. So it's that formula is truly, to me, the secret to just everything. It's just hard work and consistency over time equals results. So if you can figure that out and kind of crack the code there, then no matter what you do, just work harder and stay consistent at it, and you will see above average results. Because the sad reality is most people aren't willing to work hard and aren't willing to persist. So that's if I had to condense it down to one thing, that's what I would say. Am I going to box Greg Doucette? So for those of you guys that didn't see it, Greg Doucette made a video on Addison specifically, but he took clips from this very podcast to kind of use it in his video, and basically took some different clips and said that we were clickbaiting and said that, alluded to the fact that maybe we were lying about her natural or not status. I'm not really going to get into like a bunch of it. I'm not trying to start an internet feud or anything like that. The whole clickbaiting thing, I just found it was ironic because he was using pictures and clips from us in very specific contexts and pictures of her and calling her the female Chris Bumstead physique. Is she natural? Which is a very blatant form of clickbaiting. And for me, it was me and my sister having a conversation about us and our genetics. For him, it was him talking about a random girl that he's never talked to on the internet. So I just find the whole thing I think was weird. Did make me angry, like watching it. So I didn't really watch the whole thing. I don't know all the things that he said. Maybe he cleared it up at the end and kind of, lessened up on some of his insinuations. But anyways, like I said, that's probably more than I should have gotten into it anyways. But no, I'm not trying to start like an internet feud with anyone. Definitely there's better uses of everybody's time. What is my 5-year, 10-year, and 20-year goal? I don't specifically have, I feel like 5, 10, and 20-year goals. I would say 20-year goal is definitely be in a spot where, have kids that are probably nearing college age and be able to kind of put them in a situation to win in life. 10-year goal is to just be a great father and be started off in a great foot there. 5-year goal is, and 10-year olds, I would add in making sure that financially and with the business and everything, I'm in a spot to be a present father as well. I want to make sure and add that in, because if everything can be good on the business side of things, then I can just show up that much better as a father, and they'll have that much higher of a quality of life as well for Kinsey and our future kids. My 5-year goal would probably be building up to that point where the businesses are really at scale. So some of you guys, most of you guys, probably between Instagram and YouTube, with the last podcast episode, have seen that AR just crossed the $1 million mark, and that's total, right? So that's not like this year so far. That's not in a calendar year. Where I've always been super transparent about the numbers on here, but in the calendar year, we've done like 850 grand in the last 365 days. And then with the whole life of the account or whatever, like the whole life of the payment processor that we did the $1 million on, I think it's like 17 or 18 months. So it's like a year and a half basically since the first payment was taken, like September of 2022. So I guess it'd be 18 months, I believe. So yeah, that was a great milestone. Really cool. I think we'll be hitting it. I think we'll probably hit 1.5 to 2 in the next 365 days. If I had to really guess with some of the projects that we're building out and working on that I'm really excited about. But in 5 years, I want to get the companies to scale to a point where, we've got we already do have one, but a kick-ass team handling operations and working on scale. And then we can attack new things with just creativity and entrepreneurship, which is just really what I love to do. So solving new problems, finding new problems, and building out businesses around that. So that's kind of the 5-year goal. If someone is starting a business, what's your take on having partnerships / investors? Well, I will say all the businesses that I've started on my own, it's been much tougher. And I was a lot younger too. I think I could do different things now, but especially when you're young, it's tough to carve that space unless you have a large audience, which a lot of my friends have had to be able to launch to. And then you have done the work and you have the social capital to be able to launch something without significant amounts of capital. Now, doing something with partners, I've done that before as well. And I've had certain situations where that has not worked out for me and not been a good situation. Multiple. So there's pluses and minuses to both. The plus to it being yours is you have 100% of the upside. You also have 100% of the downside. So if it doesn't do well, if it doesn't perform, if you have to, put cash into the business, that's all on you. But you also get to make all the decisions, and you don't have to ask anyone else or get anyone else's approval. There's no voting. There's no nothing. With partners, you don't have to take on all the risk by yourself. You don't have to, enjoy your victories alone as well. But you can also, you also don't get all of the control. So you might not agree with something that your partner really wants to do, or your partner might not agree with something that you think is the best move for the business. So there's a balance between the two. And I don't think there's any one route you should go. I just think that it depends on the business model, the situation, the entrepreneur. There's a lot of different factors that come into play. And I think what most people get hung up on is trying to figure that out before they actually start and do anything. Because I know for a fact that if I hadn't done a lot of those things that I tried to do on my own and worked my way up through just the stair steps of failure, or lessons, whatever you want to call them, right? If I hadn't done all of those things, I wouldn't be near as valuable as a partner I am today for Addy or for Mike. And so I wouldn't be able to show up with the experience or the knowledge that I have, because I would have no experience and I would have no knowledge because I didn't get out there and try. So I think a lot of people get caught up in like the semantics of just that portion and don't actually take step one that is required to ever get to that successful point, right? Hard work and consistency over time equals results. So if you don't do any hard work and you don't even take step one and you don't give yourself an opportunity to get consistent at it, you're not going to learn. You're not going to be valuable later on to a partner either. Do you ever get exhausted from the grind? If so, how do you keep yourself motivated? I do get exhausted from the grind, a lot, pretty frequently actually. I find whenever I am motivated, I'm giving myself time to be creative, which I think there's a couple of other questions around that kind of topic. Whenever I am giving myself time and space to be creative, I energize myself a lot easier. But whenever I am caught, like I have been in the last few weeks, in a like back to back appointments all day, every day for weeks at a time, then I find myself a lot more prone to being burnt out. When that happens, it just ends up being, I just end up getting tired, and my cup is kind of like endlessly drained, because a lot of my job in as an entrepreneur, a lot of your job is to pour into not only clients and the people that are actually paying you, but also the people that you are paying, or your partners, or the other people in the business with you on your side of the business. So you are kind of always emptying your cup. And if you never take the time to do things that do energize you, then it can continuously drain you to a point where you're not able to show up how you need to show up. So the ways that I kind of refill my cup is if I can allow myself to be creative, whether that's workshopping a new idea, or creating a new piece of content that I that's been stuck in my head, or I really enjoy being out, like doing workouts by myself, or doing like a now run or walk where I can, or even long drive sometimes, where I can just like let my mind just run, because a lot of times I'll think about things that I don't allow myself the time in just normal daily life to be able to think about. And it'll it puts me in that creative headspace that I need to be in for me to be truly happy and at my best. I know whenever I'm allowing myself time to be introduced to new ideas and think about new ideas, I am my best version of myself for employees, partners, for Kinsey, for everybody. So I have to allow myself time to be creative, in order to keep myself motivated. I'm wondering if you guys can guess who this next one is from. It is, when are you going to love Kinsey and buy her a puppy, the one she wants, in parentheses. Kinsey and I will be getting a puppy eventually. That is all I'm going to say on the podcast, because she listens to the podcast. But currently, our living situation, being in an apartment complex in Dallas, Texas, does not allow for that. So she is going to never stop pushing the envelope on that. What do you wish to accomplish by any means necessary? I've kind of talked about it before on the podcast. I've been asked it by a couple of different guests. My answer really is, I've always felt like I was meant to be a dad. I want to do crazy things in entrepreneurship. I really want to do some sort of like private, like angel investment firm later on, where I can just help people get their dreams up off the, up and running, and be able to step in and fund them for just like a piece of the company, and give them access to maybe resources or ideas or teams, or whatever I can do to help them get to the next level and make their dreams a reality. So that's one thing that I want to do professionally. Personally, I want to be remembered for being an amazing father, especially, but son, brother, husband, all of the above. I want to be someone, a friend that anybody can lean on and come to. And it's like, if you have a problem, or you want to talk to somebody about something, or, you need a connection, or you need like hooked up with somebody, or something like that, then like Baker's your guy. You can always lean on Baker. That's what I want to be kind of thought of as. So personally, that's kind of my goal there. Next, what helps you the most to stay consistent in your fitness journey? I would say the thing that helps me the most is I truly just feel like I do need it to stay sane. I need to be doing stuff that's active for me to just feel good about my day. And I think that's from doing something active every day since I was in grade school and first started sports, pretty much. I haven't really gone any down periods. Even whenever I had knee surgery, I was still getting helped by friends around the gym to do upper body. So it's something that's just been built into my routine for so long, and it doesn't feel right if I don't do it, is the kind of lame answer. But recently, because of running the 10 miles and helping Tucker with pacing him in the ultra marathon, I've just kind of been reminded about how much, the equation that I was talking about, right? The formula, the pushing yourself to near your boundaries, and just going above and beyond and doing things that other people wouldn't do. There's just something about that makes, I get so excited by it. I just love being on that verge of what I am capable of, and kind of like flirting with that boundary and then overcoming it. So running has been a new challenge lately that has helped me to kind of put myself in that headspace and give myself that experience, because it's uncharted, it's new, and it's helped me to kind of rediscover that love for just it's hard to get near that boundary and flirt with it in the gym consistently, especially not if you're not working out with somebody that is of equal strength or stronger than you, because you don't have like that spot, right? And this is something that a lot of even like our clients with BAM struggle with, is having that person that you can kind of trust to save you if you're like going a little bit too far on a lift, like a squat or a bench or something like that. So it's hard to replicate it in a strength training setting, but I have been enjoying it in a running setting, because that voice that's telling you to stop gets so overwhelming that you truly have to reason with yourself and overcome it if you're going to overcome it, or you have the choice of stopping and giving up. And so I just love being on that barrier, because it kind of it's the way to build confidence, in my opinion, is when you flirt with that barrier and you cast that vote for the person that you want to become. You want to become the person that can run that pace for a specific amount of time, or the person that can run a marathon or run an ultra or something like that. It allows you to put yourself in the situation of, I'm going to be this better person, and I'm going to make a decision right now to do it. So I just really enjoy flirting with that boundary. And whenever I'm pushing myself in my health and fitness, I always find that the business follows closely with success and with how hard I push myself in those as well. So it is a correlation. And I know that if I'm doing well on one end, it pushes me hard on the other. I haven't necessarily noticed the same in reverse. Like doing really, really well on business seems to kind of overwhelm me and suck me into like just long days sitting right here working and kind of skipping the fitness side. So after a while, my mental health kind of declines and I'm in a weird situation. So it's hard to balance the two, but I do feel better and more energized, along with the creativity thing that I talked about earlier, if I'm doing hard things inside of my health and fitness. So I've been encouraging friends, close friends of mine, to set hard goals and go chase them. And that's something that I plan to continue to do as well, whether it be, we did 75 hard twice. Something else that I'm about to talk about that I got a question on actually, which we'll kind of go into that one next. So any plans in the fitness realm to come, whether that be expanding coaching, competing again, etc. So I think my next goal, I'm going to put it out there. As of right now, this is the plan, is to try and run maybe the Dallas Marathon in December. Kenzie and I have talked about it. It's one of Kenzie's bucket list items, so she's like all in on it as well. But it's something that kind of scares me. I think I can do it, since I ran the 10 at a very slow pace, albeit, but with very little training and on trails. I think I can do it. But I know it's going to be difficult, and I know it's not a small feat. So I plan to kind of train up to doing that, and then Kenz and I will probably run that. So that's a big goal that I'm kind of working towards right now. We've already started training for it on like a 24-week, which is much longer than normal, but a 24-week training split for the marathon. So that's kind of the next thing fitness wise as of right now, but I'm still doing all the lifting 4 or 5 days a week and working it in. I'm just doing the running training for cardio. So it's kind of like a hybrid type schedule right now, which I know it seems cliche or cringy to call myself to say the hybrid word, because I don't consider myself a hybrid athlete, at least not yet, but maybe one day. Another question around that was, what are your goals for the Dallas Half Marathon or marathon, depending on what you end up running? I don't think I'd run the half. I think I would run the marathon and just go for it. But I don't even have, honestly, a goal like as far as time, if that's what that means as of right now, because it's just a little bit premature. I got to see kind of where I'm at, and I'm going to push myself and push myself to that boundary, but I got to kind of figure out where I'm at to figure out what is on the verge of what I'm capable of, so I know where to push. So if you were stuck on an island, what 3 things would you have to survive? I don't even know where to start with this one, if I'm being quite honest. I feel like you need some sort of like maybe a spear, because you could use that for like hunting and to like cut sharp things, or as a sharp thing to like cut stuff up and make shelters and whatnot. I would want some sort of fire starting rock. I think flint is a fire starting rock. And then maybe like a life straw, one of those things that like filters water for you. That would be a good start, maybe. Those could be my 3 items. I'm assuming that this isn't a trick question, and I can't, like, I'm sure you can't like bring people or a house or something like that, but those would be my 3 things if I can only bring 3 single items. How much time do you allocate to just general business / life planning for future goals? I don't allocate a ton of time to planning. I say that I Kenzie and I, with our finances, we automate everything for our future goals. So whenever I pay myself from the businesses, whenever she gets paid from where she works, we automate out we automate things out and kind of like pay ourselves first. And what I mean by pay ourselves first is we pay like our future selves first. So we automate money into every month. As soon as money comes in, the first thing that happens is a portion gets moved into an emergency fund for us. A portion gets moved into a future like big saving type of account for like a potential house saving / just large pool of money. Not large right now, but large. If trying to build it up into something large. A portion gets automated out into, I think I said an emergency account already. A portion gets automated out into 2 different investment accounts. A portion gets automated into a small spending account for us to be able to take trips and do just like fun things and be able to actually, take advantage of opportunities to do so. Like, whenever we get the opportunity to do so. So we automate things out first. Also tax savings. That's big as an entrepreneur because we pay a lot in taxes. So automating out taxes first. And then what's left over is what we actually live on for the day to day. So we try to purposefully leave as little as possible for us to access like right now in the moment, like this month for expenses and all that stuff, so that we live below our means to plan for the future and just have those pools by the time we're even a decade down the road, all of them be hopefully substantial in each spot to where we just have a fantastic foundation because we were so aggressive from the start. And then the idea is that as they get more momentum and they get bigger, then interest and all the stuff that we're earning is going to be that much higher because we put so much in and front loaded it so heavy. And we can be more relaxed and take advantage more later on. Hopefully you're also making more money later on in your life, but that's kind of how we allocate for future business and life goals financially. Time wise though, to actually talk and plan, don't allocate a lot. We're in kind of a weird situation right now where we're trying to decide what the next basically year and a half of our life looks like, because our lease on our current spot in Dallas, Dallas ends in December. And then we'll be trying to figure out, do we get a house? Do we stay in Dallas? What do we go somewhere? I mean, what does that next phase look like? And then you start talking kids and all that stuff. And it's like a bunch of super heavy life kind of decisions. So we've been having more conversations around future planning, but we don't allocate a certain amount of time or per week or per month or anything. Do you set aside empty time for creative thinking to solve problems you have? I don't build it into my calendar, which is something I have to be better at, but I do block off time. A lot of times it ends up soaking up into like the evenings if I need it to, around calls and stuff that I have in the evenings, because my typical day ends around like 6:30 to 7 p.m. is when I kind of finish up working. But I'm on so many calls throughout the day, usually 5 to 8 calls per day with clients or educating on group calls or with the team in like team meetings or with Mike or with Addie. And so it ends up being, I don't have much time for just like personal, creativity and problems unless I build it in around my free time. So doing things like the walks, the drives, the workouts, the stuff like that, that can help me to, if I go about it right and I'm not on my phone and doing things like that, then it allows me to kind of think and be in the headspaces that I need to be in to think about the things that I need to think about. So hopefully that answers that problem or that question. What's the next business goal after hitting 6 and 7 figures? I think the next business goal, I mean, if it's numbers wise, then multiple 6 figures and bam, and probably 6 figures a month in AR would be the next kind of goal, because AR is kind of at a point where with some of the new projects that we've been building out, it'll allow us to scale to much higher levels much faster. So it's going to be very fun in the next few months looking at what that does for the company. But yeah, I think with our current team, we can surpass well over 6 figures a month and be able to fulfill it at a very efficient, high level. So that's an exciting kind of metric to look at. But whenever we get there, then we're kind of playing with some true scale and having the type of cash flow that allows you to scale even faster. So especially if we can do it with our current team size, then that opens up a lot of extra fuel to kind of just throw into the fire, right? To kind of blow it up faster and just put it on that rocket to wherever we want to take it from there. So that's kind of the next goal as far as AR, and then bam, multiple 6 figures. I think that's well within our reach as well. So that's kind of the business goals, I would say. But as always, I mean, just getting better, getting more efficient, getting more, providing better results for clients on all sides, whether they're a fitness client at BAM or whether they are a coach or client of AR. It's making sure that even if the product or service didn't work, it shouldn't be that we didn't try hard enough. It shouldn't be that we weren't as attentive as we should be. Like my goal is to make sure that nobody has any bad things that they can say about us or our services. So that's kind of where I want to be as far as another goal for the businesses. But that's kind of all the questions I had, at least all the main ones. There were several about just how handsome I am, but you guys can see it, especially if you're watching on YouTube. So I didn't think that I would need to talk about it. No, I appreciate you guys all listening, and seriously listening to me for 34 episodes. That is impressive. So round of applause to you guys for sticking it out. But seriously, your support means the world to me. I thoroughly enjoy this. I know I talk about it a lot, but I really do enjoy the conversations that I'm getting to have, the rooms that I'm getting to be in, the people that I'm getting to connect with, and I hope you guys are enjoying them too, because there's no plans to slow down. And creeping up. I'm over almost 3/4 of the way to a year, which is crazy. I'm doing this every single week. So this is I think I missed 1 week maybe, or maybe it just got delayed by a couple of days, but I might have missed 1 week because of travel. But yeah, it's insane to think that we've come this far and how many hours that I have just been talking on this platform. So no plans of slowing down, and we've got a bunch of cool guests that are slated to come aboard that I'm scheduling out over the next several weeks. So I appreciate you guys. If you're listening on any type of audio platform, make sure you follow the show. If you are watching on YouTube, make sure that you subscribe to the show to make sure you don't miss any upcoming episodes. And if you get something out of this, if you get something out of another episode, just share it. I don't run any ads. I don't promote it in any type of like paid sponsorship type of way. The show only grows whenever you send it to your friends if you get something out of it. And I only ask that you do so if you do get something out of it. So it means the world that you guys are even listening. It would mean the world to me if you guys share it or leave the show a review, because that helps it grow faster, obviously, as well. And I can't wait to see you guys in the next episode.